Action cameras. Ready, set, action. Yep, action cameras. So many action cameras out there. Hey, I'm Joe, Radio 690 ADV. There's so many different action cameras out there. Name brand, knockoffs. Not only with those, we also have drones too. Everybody's getting into all this stuff. And what's the best pick? What should you get? Maybe you want to start a YouTube channel. Maybe you just want to do some vlogging. You know, maybe you just want to put some video up. Who knows? Maybe you just want to track all your rides and stuff. Well, I'll tell you what, action cameras are not what you think they are. And you know what? More expensive doesn't make it better. Coming up next on the Radio 690 ADV. KTM North Texas is your headquarters for everything KTM and your one-stop shop. Hey guys, Joe here, 690 ADV. Are you looking for a new KTM bike? Yeah, they got them. They got adventures, enduros, dirt, racing, street, parts and service? Yeah, they got it. KTM North Texas is one of the largest aftermarket parts suppliers and repair shops in the state of Texas. Yeah, Texas. They don't just service KTM. They service most every major brand out there. If you're needing a fix or just getting race ready, you needing some new gear? Yeah, KTM North Texas, they got it. From helmets to jackets, pants, boots, goggles, tires, rims, new plastics, and so much more. So if you want great deals and to be treated just like family, don't wait. Call 817-275-2228 or text 682-465-6637. Or you can just email Bert directly at bert@slmracing.com. Don't forget, tell him 690 ADV sent you. That way you get your discount. Hey, what's up, everybody? That's right, KTM North Texas. Don't forget, if you need anything, give old Bert a shout over there. He'll take care of you 100%. Not only that, they're also a new Sherco dealer. So if you're looking for new Sherco bikes, anything in that range, man, they got them. They got all that stuff. So they're probably going to be the best Sherco dealer in the state of Texas. Anyway, hey, I'm Joe, your host, Radio 690 ADV. Thanks for stopping in. Thanks for giving me your time, and thanks for listening to the podcast. Don't forget about our YouTube channel. We've got hundreds and hundreds of videos, anything from reviews to just bikes to tips and tricks to gear. Everything that's on there is pretty much proven. It's got years of experience behind it. So anything that you need, don't forget, you can also hit me up. Email me at 690adv@gmail.com, and I'll do my best to get out there and get you the information that you're looking for, help you out. Today's podcast, it's kind of going to go along the lines of several podcasts, not only that, videos that are coming up too. I've been around a long time. I'm pretty into the Facebook stuff. I don't do tons of posts on Facebook, except for I like to share the videos and stuff to a lot of the people out there, and then I'll comment on the things that truly make sense to me. There's just too much garb that's out there on Facebook. And 80% of it's just fake anyway. It's hard to sift through all that type of stuff, but it is a good place. It does have its purpose, and it does have its place on the planet. It's just misused so much. My personal opinion, Facebook, everything's a perfect world and everybody's an expert. So basically what I'm getting at is be real careful on who you're listening to and who you're getting advice from. And I'm not saying I'm the foremost expert on everything. I'm not putting myself out there on a pedestal. I do have great people around me, and I do have a lot of these people that I not only chat and they are part of the channel. I actually know these people, and I would never ever mislead you on purpose. To try to better, put myself up there and make myself like I'm the foremost greatest. But I do like to go to sources and get the information that's really pertinent to what you are looking for whenever you need the information that's out there. Anyway, like I said, my name's Joe. I'm your host for the Radio 690 ADV. If this is your first time, make sure you hit subscribe. Don't forget, also go to our website, 690adv.com. Be part of that as well. So, on with the podcast. The action cameras, like I said, this is a podcast, so it's not going to be 2 minutes or anything like that. So, we're going to sit and chat a little bit, but maybe you've been sitting around, maybe you followed me for a little while, or maybe somebody else inspired you, or somebody put you on the path, or maybe you just like to ride solo or anything like that, and you want to document, as I like to say, your rides, your trips, things that you do. Maybe just your day-to-day life. Maybe just you going out and buying some gear at a local cycle gear or at a motorcycle shop or whatever you want to do. Maybe you're looking to get an action camera. And, the staple, as I like to say, the staple of action cameras is the immediate. When you think an action camera, one name comes to mind, and it's almost instantaneous. It's, hey, what's the best action camera? GoPro. GoPro's the best. GoPro's the best at all. They've been around. They started it all. They're the king. They're yada, 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 yada. Well, I've filmed since GoPro was just a baby. They were literally nothing. I had the original GoPro, and it did a great job. It was really cool because it was the camera itself was pretty tough itself with nothing around it, but it was the ballistic case that really pushed that camera over the edge. It allowed you to do all those crazy and exciting and things that you would normally never do with a camera. You wouldn't take a Canon, handheld camera that you, back in those days, $600, $800, $900 and go strap it down with a bungee cord onto your bike and start filming your stuff. Well, we kind of did, but I'm just saying your average Joe would not do something like that. So the initial is, what is the best action camera? But everybody usually loves to jump on the GoPro bandwagon. And I don't know what cameras use. There's so many of them out there, and I own a lot of cameras, and I've given cameras away, and I've sold cameras, and I'm going to tell you the brands that I use, and I'm also going to tell you some of the brands that are basically knockoffs that do really a pretty darn good job for what they are. But understand, at the end of the day, you get all these people that sit there and say that China's making the GoPros now, and they're selling them for $500, but they're really only $20 to buy. Okay, here's the real reality behind most all this stuff that's out there. Some of it is true. I'm not going to sit there and be a naysayer and come down and hammer bash that type of stuff. But what I will say is that what it is it's a clone. It's not the actual product. It's really not the actual product. It's just like the KTM in China, the 790 and all this stuff that China's making. That's not it. That's not it. KTM is still behind the parts. China's just helping build the bikes pretty much. They're not sitting there and making the molds and all this type of stuff. It's just not true. But once China comes into the realm, then what happens is everybody finds an avenue to sit there and poke holes in it and turn it into Swiss cheese. And that is really kind of the biggest thing. Everybody wants to be the in the know and all these things. And the thing is just make sure that you get all your facts straight before you start posting a lot of this information, or you start letting it out to other people and things like that. Only because if you're incorrect, then the repercussions are threefold back on you, and it just makes you look like you don't know what you're talking about. So all I'm saying is just understand and make sure you do your research, because research is really, honestly, I've said it in hundreds of videos because we have them. Research is king. Research it allows you to back your stuff up. And that brings me back to Facebook and Twitter and Reddit and all this type of stuff. There's just too many experts out there these days. And it just cracks me up. It doesn't matter what you post or whatever you make, just too many experts out there. So back to action cameras. You think about them, you want to buy one, you don't know what to get. You don't want to spend a ton of money. Nobody wants to spend a ton of money, ever. I would love to sit there and buy a great action camera for $25. It doesn't exist. That's not real. So GoPro's the best, right? I've owned many GoPros. I actually have a GoPro. I shot this Friday's video on a GoPro. I don't think the video is as good. I'll be honest with you. It's really good. Don't get me wrong. But if you look at the past 2 months of videos, that was shot on a different camera, and it's less expensive than GoPro. I personally, my opinion, I'm going to get to it here in a minute. I think it's better. That's my opinion. I think that this manufacturer is on the right path, and I think that for action cameras and what you get, and I'm going to tell you why I think it's better. There are reasons behind I think it's better than GoPro. I think GoPro is really, really good. But I think GoPro has slipped. I think GoPro is not listening to their people that are buying. And I think that they are standing on their name only these days. It is a really good camera. It's a great camera. I'm not saying that you're going to go wrong with it. What I am saying is that when you go and buy that camera, you're really paying for the name. You're not paying for all the features and what you truly get out of it. And I'm not going to go into the full spec details because that's just going to bore you. We're not going to talk about CMOS and all these different things and light apertures and all that type of stuff. That's for you to do. That's for you to get out and do some due diligence. You know, I'll do my best to put you on the right path, but it's your job to go and do the research and make sure that you're buying the right camera for what works for you, not for what works for me. I buy cameras based off of what I want to shoot video. And my thing is proof in the pudding. And if you want to see side by side, we'll probably have a video one of these days side by side between these two cameras and stuff like that, and which one in live action really works for moto vlogging. Not for everyday walking down the street, but moto vlogging. Anyway, GoPro. I shoot at 1080 by 60 frames. That's a staple. That's pretty much an average for me. Reason I shoot at 60 frames per second at 1080p. Everything today, YouTube, Facebook, Watch, or whatever they want to call that video thing on Facebook, that's never going to be YouTube. It's never going to be YouTube. It will never be as big. It will never even come close. It's hard with their stats. It's hard to do anything with YouTube other than just post things to just put it up there. But I shoot at 60 frames per second because that's how many pictures it takes per second in that quality at 1080p, which is, X amount of pixels wide, but X amount of pixels high. It's all based around television. It's all based around your cell phone screen. So 60 frames a second, you can do 30 frames a second. Some cameras will allow you to go to 24. Some will allow you to shoot at 120, yada, yada, up and up and up. But the higher frame rate you go, most of that is for slow motion. So 60 frames is for truly fast motion and action. And what it does is it captures more of the surroundings to where it's more visible for the human eye to actually see it clearer. That's all it is. It allows things that are moving quickly to be more visible. That's basically what the more frame rate equals. So I shoot at 60. A lot of times I'll dumb it down to 24 frames per second. The reason I do 24 frames per second is because that's basically cinematic. That is for Hollywood. Most of your videos are shot at that frame rate. They'll run at a higher frame rate, then they'll dumb it down. And what it does, it doesn't make it look like you're shooting video in your grandma's backyard or something like that. It softens the picture a little bit. It doesn't really take away from the clarity a whole lot. It does just a tad, but it still keeps it nice and crisp, but it kind of monotones the way that it looks. So it doesn't look artificially or fake, or like you shot your Christmas video with your Canon or your Nikon or something like that. So GoPro the best? Really good. I think they're overpriced. I'll be honest with you. I don't think I'll ever buy a GoPro again, just because I just don't like what they've done. It just, you go from basically the GoPro 4, and then after 4 you got the 5, the 6, the 7, and then now the 8. And they have basically everything is built into its own frame, so it doesn't really have a ballistic case anymore. The 5, 6, and 7s, I think with a little work you can actually replace the the camera lens, or at least the glass that's in front of it. But most of them, you can't do that. And what happens is if you get a little scratch, well, you're going to see that forever. It's never going to come out. If you want it out of there, you got to ship it back to GoPro. And then you basically are going to be down for whatever. You really need more than one camera. If, something like that happens, so that way you can still keep shooting and filming. But not only that, it's just the pricing and some of the things that you can't change on it, like that, for instance. And I think you can on some of those, but the 8, you can't do that now. And everybody wants the latest and greatest. But in all reality, the newer doesn't always make it better. It really doesn't make it better. My video shot on a GoPro 4 Hero Black, and I'll compare that to anybody's GoPro that's out there, all the way up to the 7. And it's pretty much the same. It's literally pretty much the same, especially at 1080p. The only changes that are going to be is when you're shooting in 4K. That's probably going to be the better feature. But the problem is the higher the frame rate and the higher the resolution, the bigger the file, the longer it takes, I mean, the list goes on and on. Shooting the video is one thing. The other thing is actually rendering the video and actually putting it into your editing software to turn it into an actual video. That's the part that really will make it nice and fun. And actually, I'm just kidding. It's not fun at all. The bigger the file size, the harder it is and the longer it takes. And especially if you're pushing it to YouTube, if you don't have a great connection, it's going to take you 10 years to get that video up. It's literally going to take hours to get it up. So, GoPro great? Yes. Best? Personal opinion. The camera that I'm shooting on now, if you guys are looking and you've been following for about the last 2.5 months, I got it right before Christmas. I picked up the DJI Action, and I really did a lot of research. The DJI Action is about almost $100 cheaper. It has Rocksteady, that is its primary stabilization. It's basically built into the camera itself, and GoPro has it too. It's pretty good. I forget what they call it, like smooth. I don't know what they call it, but it does a really good job. And I'm not bashing GoPro. If you own a GoPro, you win. I just think that you're probably going to overpay for a camera. And if you were going to buy GoPro, buy an earlier model so that you can save that money, because you're going to get really, really good video footage out of those cameras. But my DJI Action, it's fantastic. I shoot on 2 cameras now, actually, and I still have my GoPro, but I have the Action and I have the Pocket. And the Pocket is a handheld gimbal, which is fantastic. I shoot a lot of video on that. Both the cameras are 4K capable at, I want to say it's either 60 or 120 frames per second. It's beautiful. I think the picture is nicer. I like that the lens cap is unscrewable. I can unscrew it and I can put a new one on. I can change the filters by just putting on a lens cap. I don't use those. It's not my thing, but I do understand that if people are out there and they were going to go shoot video, they're out in the field and they want like a sepia or some kind of, just a natural, something. I get it. It's not my thing. So I don't use them. I do like the battery. The battery on the DJI Action, I'm not going to lie to you, I get twice what I get on my GoPros. And the battery management just seems to be so much better on that DJI. I don't know why. It can go down to lower temperatures than the GoPro before it starts having problems. If you've ever shot film in really cold temperatures, like in the 30s or something like that, GoPros will freeze. They'll freeze up. They'll glitch. They'll have issues when you get down into the low 30s or even into the high 20s, and especially when you're riding. And they overheat too. I've never had my DJI overheat, at least to this point. Here in Texas, it gets a little hot. I've had my GoPro. I've had to reshoot video many times because the GoPro overheated, and it is what it is. I get it. It's hot and that thing's running and but it's, you would think that it would be able to handle that stuff. But the batteries are cheaper on the DJI. But the thing is, I mean, God, I can shoot for pretty good. I mean, I've never ran the battery out, shooting a Friday night's video, and it does a fantastic job. And the DJI Pocket, Osmo Pocket, it's micro, it's small. The gimbal is amazing. It shoots better than any of the GoPro gimbals that I've ever had, where you put the GoPro onto the actual gimbal and you can move it around and get those cinematic shots and the nice smooth motion and stuff. But between those two cameras, all of my cables are the same. The software is the same. I mean, everything's the same, and I don't have to change between anything. So I'm not affiliated with DJI, so don't sit there and think I'm trying to pimp it or sell it. I'm just telling you my personal experience. I don't care what you get. You can go get a Chinese knockoff on Amazon, and I still think you're going to be okay. I'm not that guy that I'm going to say one thing's better than the other. What I'm saying is what you get versus what you pay. There is a difference. There is a difference. I don't care what anyone says, you know. I'm not one of those guys that are, I'm trying to, you know, reinvent the wheel and tell you that DJI is made in India and they're selling it here in the States for $349. But they make it for $5. That's not me. I'm not that guy. So action cameras, and I also have a Cena or a Senna. It depends on who you are. Tomato, tomato. Everybody loves to sit there and try to correct it. Everybody's an English major too. I've noticed that. Everybody will tell you that you're saying, you know, something wrong, or they'll point it out or anything like that. It's like, man, what kind of life do you have when you got to sit there and try to always correct somebody, or you're always finding a way to correct somebody? I don't have time for that. I don't care. I'm not an English major. My wife's a teacher. You know, she's got multiple degrees and all that stuff, and she doesn't even correct me, and she's a freaking teacher. So I just think it's dumb. But anyway, like I said, if you're trying to get into motovlogging or anything like that, you know, just do your research. You know, the GoPros are really good. The DJI, I think, is fantastic. I think they're way better, and I think they're light years, and I think the next version of the Action is really going to put GoPro on its heels. This one already put GoPro on its heels on the GoPro 8. Especially with the Osmo Pocket and the drones that they have. They're proven. They're actually in cinematic movies. Hollywood uses them. And I hate to break the news to you, if Hollywood's using them, that usually means they're pretty good. So I don't know what cameras you use. You can put it down below if you're basically listening to this on YouTube or whatever it is that you're doing, or even on the Spreaker app, or if you're following us on anything that you can actually make a comment. Please make a comment on yours and what you use and why you use it. Let's get on to the cheaper cameras. Why would you spend your money on a $30 action camera, or a $50 action camera, or an $80 action camera? Because in all reality, you can't get an action camera for under $250. Not a real one. It's not true. I had an old camera that I bought. It was a 4K camera, and it shoots anything below 4K. It shoots 2.4K or whatever it is. I don't use any of that stuff, but a buddy of mine didn't have an HD camera, so he's a storm chaser, very good friend of mine. I've known him for 20 years, and he just was not willing to go out and go buy a camera to shoot HD. So I gave it to him. It had 2 batteries. It came with a ballistic case. It came with all these different accessories and stuff like that. I didn't use it a whole lot. I was just using it as a secondary shot or a secondary angle, and I ended up, shocker, I have so much freaking gear, it's retarded. But I just noticed that I wasn't using it anymore. So long story short, I bought it on Amazon. I think I paid $60 for it. And he started shooting a lot of his videos for YouTube. He does, you know, he has some videos that he talks about, like weather and storms and funny, goofy stuff that he does, you know, from his days of doing his stuff. We do motorcycles. He does, he chases tornadoes. And that's where I get a lot of my storm information. And I tell people about riding and what to look at on radars and stuff. People are like, oh, what makes you an authority? Well, I have professional guys that are actually storm chasers that actually go out and chase tornadoes and know how to read it and know how to be where they're supposed to be. And well, that's the only reason that I give that is because yeah, I get it from professional guys. But anyway, he uses that camera and he has Passion Twist video. And, but he shoots his video on it and man, it looks really fantastic. It looks great. You know, he's been using it for a long time. It gets him his HD video and stuff like that. Now, is it as good as a GoPro? The answer is no, it is not. And I don't care what anyone says. The video quality is not as good. But if you're just trying to shoot stuff and you want some HD video to get onto YouTube, or if you're just trying to get started and you don't want to break the bank, these cameras can totally work for you. They totally can work for you. And you can, I've seen them as low as like $30 or $40, but keep in mind that you get what you pay for, and they probably are not going to last as long. They're not going to take the hits. They're probably not going to take the temperatures as well. But overall, it'll work. It will totally work for you. And maybe you could start with something like that, graduate into a camera that you spent a little bit more money on. Now, the next thing is cameras and audio. They all sound like crap. I don't care what anyone says. They all sound like crap. The interior mics are awful. They sound awful. So you have to connect microphones to it. I get a lot of people that ask me, hey, how do you get your audio from your helmet to your cameras? Okay. Well, there's many different ways. They have USB ports that you can actually go out from the USB port on GoPro and turn that into a 3.5 millimeter jack and then do a lapel mic. A lot of guys do it. Tons of guys do it. Matter of fact, a lot of guys do that. And it sounds really good. But you have more things. You have more attachments. You have cables, wires, and all this stuff on there. And then you can do Bluetooth. Not every camera is Bluetooth capable. It just doesn't work. So Sena really pretty much invented that one. They kind of got that going. So if you ever listen to all of my audio is all Bluetooth. Every bit of it. It's all been Bluetoothed from the headset to the camera. And that's how it goes. So it's all streamed in HD. Now, I get people that are like, wait a minute, you're not using a Sena camera, so how are you getting the Bluetooth over to your video? All right, well, on my GoPro, they only make it for the Hero 4. So it's called a backpack. And what it does is it connects to the back of the GoPro 4. It only works with GoPro Hero 3 and Hero 4. It connects to the back. It has basically a pigtail. And then it has basically a switch on the back. You pair that box to your headset, and then it basically pairs and it streams high definition audio to the camera through the pigtail and the backpack. So if you're looking for something like that, you could go get a GoPro Hero 4, basically one that's refurbished or something like that. Go get a Sena backpack, get the pigtail, go get a Sena headset, and biff, bam, boom. You now have HD quality, and you can be up to almost 75, 100 feet away from it, and it's crystal clear audio out of your helmet. They also make a microphone that you can clip onto your chest or onto a hat or anywhere, and you can walk up to 300 feet away on that one and still have crystal clear audio. So that's one way. But if you've been watching my latest videos, I haven't been using my GoPro Hero in the backpack, but yet I still have Bluetooth audio. How has that happened? I'm not going to go into too much detail because I have a video coming out on that and show you how to do it. It's a hack that I basically put together to make it work because I was like, there's got to be a way that I can do Bluetooth to any other camera other than GoPro. Has to be. Well, I figured it out. It's pretty easy. It's inexpensive. It doesn't cost squat, and it works. So, anyway, action cameras. What's a great one? What's not a great one? The best camera is the camera that you're going to go get and that you can afford. But if you can afford a camera and you want one that's fantastic, my personal opinion, my pick, DJI, the action. I think it's fantastic. I think it's better than GoPro, and I think they're on the right pace. Not only that, I like all the connections. Everything's basically USB-C, so it's super fast connection to my computer when I need to dump my video. I don't have to pull out my SD cards anymore. I can just move my video as fast as an SD card is plugged into the back of the computer. It's awesome. GoPro, not so much, and it's usually not as good. And I don't like the GoPro apps. They're a pain in the butt to use. I don't have to use any apps whenever I'm pulling my videos off of my DJI. It's just really, really nice. So, I'm Joe, 690 ADV, Radio 690 ADV. Thank you so much for stopping in. Hopefully this helps on the action cameras and maybe to put you on the right path to what you want and maybe what you're looking for. But just remember, you don't have to break the bank to get started. You just got to get started. That's all it is. Everybody sits back and says, man, I sure would like to do that. Well, just go do it. Don't sit around. Don't make excuses. Make it happen. Go find your adventure. 690 out.